I appreciate everybody coming out in the heat to celebrate Mayor Craven. My name is Brett Howes. I'm the current mayor of Roslyn, and we have a wonderful program for you today. Again, we'll try to go quickly and get everybody into the cool weather somewhere. And again, I appreciate it, and it's an honor to be here with Mayor Craven. And I'd like to introduce you to the president of the Roslyn Downtown Association, Sherry Marissa.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to our authentic, wonderful town of Roslyn. I echo the mayor's sentiment that Roslyn is a unique place with a unique community that shares the history and the values of family, friends, and community. Today is a great day for the Roslyn Downtown Association and our board of directors, who really stepped up and we had the privilege of working with Governor Ensley and his amazing staff to honor our beloved Will Craven and the legacy of his entire family today. So the program is going to get right underway, and it is my honor to introduce, for the invocation, Pastor Colby Jones of Church Home. Would you please stand?
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here, and let's pray together as we begin. Jesus, we thank you so much for our time together in these moments. Thank you for the significance of just being here in Roslyn and celebrating an incredible legacy in Mayor Craven, and we just thank you so much for our time together. We thank you so much for a life well lived and a legacy that will continue, and just believe the best. And we thank you, and we declare that you are good. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Colby. Real briefly, have you ever got that phone call and it says, "Hey Sherry, this is Representative Lovick, and I'm in Roslyn and we're ready to go." And you go, "Oh my God, it's Tuesday. Oh my God, did I send out the wrong date? Did I do this? Did I do that?" And all of a sudden you're scanning to make sure the invite was right, and he goes, "Oh, just keep it on your toes. I'm not there yet. I know it's tomorrow." But it's just that gasp of self-doubt for that split-second moment that you're like, "You've got to be kidding me," right? So thank you, Representative Lovick, for keeping me on my toes. At this time, I am really proud to introduce our 13th District Senator, Senator Judy Warnick. Judy has been an advocate for all things good for our community, and she continues to advocate for future projects for our community. So Senator Warnick, would you please come to the stage? Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sherry. And you notice she said future projects. Sherry never gives up on bringing the best from this building to the library to everything. Never gives up on bringing the best to Roslyn. It is an honor to be here. I am very honored to represent the city of Roslyn and the community of Kittitas County. And it's a special honor to be here to recognize Will Craven. I'm very, very impressed with you, with your family, and everything that you have done for this community and your family has done. So thank you for letting me be part of this. Now, Sherry has already mentioned our next speaker. And he is kind of one of my heroes. He was the Speaker Pro Tem when I was first elected to the House. And one night when we were walking out of the Capitol, it was very, very late. It was probably 2, 3 in the morning, one of those all-nighters that our speaker used to let us go through all the time. But I walked out next to Representative Lovick, and I tripped on one of those marble steps. He grabbed my arm and kept me from falling all the way down that Capitol steps. So Representative Lovick is a hero to me for that and for a number of other reasons, but I'd like to introduce you to the audience today. Thank you, Speaker, or Mr. Lovick.
Thank you, Senator. I remember when you tripped, and I just wanted to make sure that you did not fall.
Yeah,
so things happen in this world. And thank you, Senator Warnick, very, very much. And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today is a great day. An able yet humble man is a jewel worth a kingdom. English writer William Penn. I'm happy to join you, along with Governor Ensley, as we honor William Craven, who dedicated his life to public service and to helping others. Mr. Craven worked as a school custodian and as a grave digger. He also served on the city council before being appointed mayor in 1975. He was the first black mayor in Washington state. When he stood for election, he won, obviously, in a landslide. In 1975, William Craven may have made history. Back then, he clearly was not looking to make headlines. But in the process, what he did was he made headway. What Mr. Craven did was he made sure the roads were plowed when it snowed, and he protected the city's watershed. In addition to plowing the snow, he paved the way so others could follow in his footsteps. The roads he paved will last forever. In 1995, 20 years after being appointed mayor, there were 5 black mayors in Washington state. Mr. Craven, I want to thank you for all you've done. You opened many doors for a number of us. Because of your journey, many of us are able to go farther than we ever envisioned or than we ever dreamed possible. Sir, we're here to thank you and to tell you, you not only did your job, but you did your job well. Not because it served your interest, but because it served the interest of others. Your legacy is worthy of respect, admiration, and a kingdom. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to invite Josephine Howell to come and sing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife, whose those more loved people than even their lives. America, God shed
Josephine. Let's hear it for Josephine. That was wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Now I would like to invite my colleague, the president of the Black Members Caucus, chair of the Black Members Caucus from the 30th District, Jamila Taylor.
Never want to go after a beautiful singer like that. Oh, thank you so much for having me today. I am Jamila Taylor out of the 30th District. I'm the chair of the Black Members Caucus, and this is a historic moment, a historic day to honor Mayor Craven, and I am so pleased to be able to share just a few words. As a daughter of a Black historian, one who probably knows more about Black history in Washington State, who's here with us today, Dr. Quintar Taylor, I can tell you that having living history amongst us and knowing the contributions of African Americans to our body politic, to our communities, to know that we have been part of our storied history since the state's inception. And it's great to see the legacy, and to honor the legacy of Mayor Craven. I will reserve the rest of my comments for the next part of the program, but thank you so much for honoring Mayor Craven today and forever.
Thank you, Representative Taylor. Now our next speaker, a dear friend of mine, the Congresswoman from this great district, Congresswoman Kim Schreiber.
Wow, thank you so much. And I have really enjoyed listening to all of our speakers thus far. Governor Ensley and distinguished guests, thank you for inviting me to be part of this special day. I'm really honored to be here. And it is such a privilege to learn a little more about Roslyn's unique history and to meet you, sir, Mayor Craven, and your family. And I'm sorry that I'll never have the opportunity to meet all of your family, because especially I would have liked to have met your wife, who I understand was a remarkable, remarkable person. The American poet and environmentalist, bit of a radical, Gary Snyder once said, "Find your place on the planet, dig in and take responsibility from there." And I love that spirit, and the idea that we all have a role to play in improving the places where we live. And it's a mindset that is shared by people who volunteer, who step up, who roll up their sleeves to serve on boards, lead efforts to conserve natural spaces, take initiative in preventing forest fires. And it's something that you embody. So I want to thank you. As a lifelong resident and the son of a coal miner, you are deeply connected to this city's past. And as someone who's dedicated, devoted your life to this place, you've also shaped the community, as we have already heard. You were unanimously appointed to lead, which I just have to say, as a representative from this district, I'm just a bit jealous of. And at the time, you weren't really overly concerned about the historical significance. You just wanted to do your job and dig in. And we are so grateful that you did, and from here on in, your name will be in the history books. I continue to hope that one day I can earn the kind of support and love that you have earned in this community. And thank you for your legacy of citizenship and public service. It's really an honor to meet you and know you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Schreiber. Now our next speaker, his grandparents lived here. He is the longest serving speaker of the House of Representatives, my dear friend, Representative Frank Chop.
Oh, wow. I first saw Willie Craven when he was this high or this deep in a grave. He was digging in the Roslyn Cemetery for one of my family members who had died. That's when I first saw you. When my uncle introduced us, Will put one hand on the shovel handle, and with the other he waved at me, very friendly. Over the years, Will dug the graves for many of my relatives. If you want, I'll give a tour later of the sites. Doing that work made Will an essential worker. Only later did he become mayor. When my relatives would talk about Willie, it was always with respect and affection. They respected Willie and they liked him. I could see why he was elected mayor. For me, it was a point of pride for Roslyn that it was the first city in Washington state to elect a black mayor. Only later did a city somewhat to the west of us did the same thing. There's a lot of history in this town, and we should remember the points of pride, like with Willie, but also the labor strife and the racial prejudices of the past. This building behind us, the so-called Northwest Improvement Company, is today a symbol of the Roslyn revival. Decades ago, it was a source of much pain. Do you remember the song by Johnny Cash? Let me get it. With the lyrics, you load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Saying, Peter, don't you call me because I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Well, this building was the company store, and frankly, my family hated the company. Did you also know that this very company store also blatantly discriminated against black miners and their families for years? That was an extra burden to the 16 tons. Now, to overcome the past, we must remember it. In the 1930s, the governor at the time called out the state troopers to suppress the strike by the coal miners, including my father. State troopers tear gassed my mother just up the road, who was there with my dad on the picket lines. Well, quite a few things have changed for the better. We have made some progress. John Lovick, a former state trooper, is our MC today, and he serves graciously as our House Speaker pro tem. And Governor Ensley, thank you so much for being here today. It means a great deal to me and my family to honor Willie. Together we're here to honor Will Craven for his outstanding service. By force of will and a lot of hard work, Will Craven became important not only to Roslyn and the state of Washington, but also to my family. Will, thank you so much. You've done us proud. Now everybody, let's hear it for Will Craven.
Thank you, Representative Chop. You know, I'll tell you this. I've gone to a lot of events with this man, and he always brings a tear, but they're tears of joy. Thank you. Let's give him another hand. Thank you very, very much. Now we will invite Ms. Osmanovich forward to offer words of friendship. And he and I met earlier. His daughter lives in the same neighborhood that I live in, up north in Mill Creek. Good to see you.
You betcha. Thank you. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I saw that. Thank you. Okay, good. I got to hurry because Sherry said you got 2 minutes. She told me that. And so, yeah, and I got her good. Thank you for being here. And I had jeans on before I dressed up, but if I knew you had jeans, I would have worn my jeans. I got a little bit, I had my spurs on. And Will, I only have 2 minutes, so I can't tell him everything about it, but Will is and was and will be a great friend. I even have some notes. Can you hear me okay back there? Okay, good. I don't know if it's good or not, but I was born and raised in Roslyn, as Will was, and I was a Ducktowner down in Ducktown. Frank, you know Ducktown. And Will was uptown, up here a couple of blocks, but every day I'd walk to school, not by myself, my sister, and there were 13 in my family, so I was never alone. And Will had, what, you have 10? 13. See, we have a lot in common. We have more in common than we have differences. And I used to walk up past Will's house up here, and I know where Will got his compassion and humor and good friendship from his mother. Because I'd walk by the house, his mother would be sitting on the porch or on the steps. She always was happy, waved, found out my name, hi Louie, all the time, and just was a wonderful woman. Always had good humor, and that's where Will got his friendship and his good humor too. And then I also knew his dad. Sam was about 7 feet tall, maybe not that, but he seemed to be 7 feet tall when I'd run into him on the road. And from Sam, who worked in the coal mines, dug graves, worked hard, that's where Will got his work ethic. So thanks to them, turned out pretty darn good, huh? And they kept an eye on you. Yeah, Will's character is due to his mother and his dad for his hard work ethic. In junior high basketball, you wouldn't believe this, but Will was taller. We both shrunk a little bit, you know, was taller, and he was a lot heavier. He was kind of like one of his sons over here. But if you tried to check him in basketball, he'd either go around you, jump up and go around, and he'd shoot. If he missed, you didn't dare go in for the rebound because he could jump higher than I ever could to get the rebound, and I got out of the way so he wouldn't land on me when he came down. He was a good player. Remember all that fun we had here on the playground? Yeah. And oh, there's one thing I do have to tell you about. Will was the custodian of our grade school up here, where we both went from kindergarten through 8th grade. You remember Mrs. Brockhouse? She was our kindergarten teacher, right? Yeah. See, we can still remember. We're old, but we can still remember. Oh, by the way, in a month, you'll be as old as I am, 83. All right. Yeah, but age doesn't mean anything. We'll still go to the casino, and yeah, that's another thing. Will, I run into Will once in a while in the casino. We both like, you know, we don't spend much money, but we lie to each other. I'll walk up in, how'd you do, Will? Oh, you're pretty good. I won a little bit. And I would say, well, I did too, pretty. I broke even. We both probably lost about $100. But we win sometime, and we'll win some more. Okay, I think my 2 minutes is just about up, but is it? Okay. Oh, I want to say one more thing. Will, if you don't think Will works hard, take a drive by the Mount Olivet Cemetery if you haven't been up there, and see what he has done with the memorial and the whole cemetery. The Mount Olivet Cemetery, and you'll know what kind of worker he is. Oh, can I tell one more thing? I know I'm going too long.
The governor, not me.
Oh, the governor, I'll be done in about 5. Will, one thing, when you were in custody, he worked with Mr. Steele. I don't know if there's anybody here my age still alive that remembers Mr. Steele. Anyway, he was our custodian. And he was good. He kept the halls clean. He kept the furnace going. And when he left, he got old and he retired. And then Will, well, you worked for him, with him for a while, and shoveled the coal in the furnace, kept the building clean and the warm in the wintertime, and shoveled a lot of coal in that furnace. One thing Mr. Steele could do that Will couldn't do, I didn't see him do it, he might have been practicing or something. Mr. Steele would take his broom, push broom, that wide, you know, the broom part, long handle. Mr. Steele, Ethel, I'll bet you remember this, he'd put it on his chin and he'd walk up the hall balancing that broom on his chin, and he could walk clear up the hall. Did you ever learn to do that? There is still time, Will, there's still time. Yeah. Anyway, we're running late? Okay. Will's love for Rosalind is why he was our mayor. He's a love for Rosalind.
Thank you very, very much. We are going to have a little time after this event to share a few more stories. But thank you very, very much. So now I would like to call Virgil Lewis of the Yakama Nations, Jeff Dade, Tobias, Tara, and from the Seahawks like to offer some gifts. Please come forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I know we're here to honor an individual that deserves every honor that's bestowed upon him. My name is Virgil Lewis, Sr. My Indian name is Sluiskum. I am the Vice Chairman for the Yakama Nation Tribal Council, and I represent over 11,000 enrolled Yakamas. I would like to read this letter on behalf of Mr. Craven and his family. Dear Mr. Craven, the Confederated Tribes and Bands of the Yakama Nation would like to acknowledge you and your family for the legacy of care they have brought to Yakama Nation's ancestral lands. We understand that your family has been involved caring for those who have passed away and have been a part of the stewardship of our sacred lands and forests. These are qualities which we understand to be a benefit to all of us. In our way, such care is how we honor the Creator through our respect of His creation. We recognize the importance and significance of your term as the mayor of Rosalind, Washington from 75 to 79. As the first African American to hold the title of mayor in Washington state. In our time as tribal people on this land, our elders witnessed the changes in how people treated the land and each other. We lived a life before the Creator, depending on each other for survival, appreciated our uniqueness as individuals and shared a life through trade and honor without currency. We were taught the importance of our neighbors and how, through hard times, we would need to rely on one another. Today and for some time, our lands have been overcome by foreign mindset that limits our appreciation for one another. We have become divided, and we are still in need of forces that bring us together and bring honor to our land and the Creator. Your experiences and accomplishments, which we have come here to honor today, represent the force that brings us together. We thank you, Mr. Craven, and your family for your way of being without prejudice and with an unwavering focus on the things that matter. Mr. Craven, we have 2 copies of the letter in this, and we also have a blanket for you from the Yakama Nation.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Rosalind. My name is Mike Flood. I'm the Vice President of Community Outreach for the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm proud to join Governor Ensley, Speaker Schaub. Those are quite moving remarks and the stories we've heard today. But I've got a gift for Will. Russell Wilson signed a football for Will. And we want to bring Will and family to a Seahawk game this year and salute him. And this is a big day. This is a very inspiring story for us. But Will, this is for you, and I look forward to talking to you afterwards about what we're going to do.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Jeff Dade. Can't beat the football. My name is Jeff Dade, and I am a community outreach director with Forterra. Some of you may have seen the big signs around. And I'm here actually working the Tacoma Arena. And one of the things that when I talked to my colleague Sherry, I had to be here because the work that I get to do is with a neighborhood called Hilltop. It's a 150-year strong black neighborhood, and we talk a lot about legacy. We're working on bringing that to the fore. Forterra allows me to do that, and also when I heard about Mr. Craven, sir, I had to be here. And one of the things that was interesting to me, so my grandfather was a coal miner in West Virginia. I was born in 1975 when you became mayor. And I actually did a tour of the cemetery today in the black section, and it was very moving for me. And I just feel there's so much history and there's so much good that's here. And I see the love that this town has for you. And I had to be a part of it, and I wanted to show you with a gift. I commissioned with Forterra this gift from a beloved Tacoma artist named Tiffany Hammonds. This is from her series. The paint is barely dry on this. That's how fresh this is, just for you. It's called The Promise. And there's a special note on the back of it. It's just for you. Only I got to read it. Maybe Sherry, she might have peeked. But we just want to honor you, sir, and you have so much respect. There's all the stories that we know as black folk in America. There's certain things that, if I can have just a moment with you and the family, there's certain things that we go through, the million indignities. And I just appreciate you so much and what you've done. And I know my 2 minutes are probably over too, but I want to make sure that you know this across this state and this country, like we see you. And it's important. Thank you so much.
Real briefly, we have 3 letters. The Seattle Mariners are here to present something to Will. President Anamari Kause from the University of Washington was not able to be here, sent a letter. Our Senator Tawana Noble, as well as our beloved Washington State Patrol Chief Batiste. So on all of their behalf, Will, they acknowledge you and send their regards for today and best wishes.
Thank you, Sherry. Now I would like to invite Representative Taylor to read the proclamation.
All right, I get to share more of the history. Mayor Craven, you are the keeper of community. Let's cherish these moments with our elders, the living legacies in our community. State of Washington proclamation. Whereas William Amos Craven is the 3rd son of Ethel Williams Craven and Samuel Lawrence Craven, and grandson of Harriet Jackson Williams and David Clifford Williams, who were among the black pioneers who migrated to Roslyn, Washington, beginning in 1888, and who formed the first large group of black pioneers to settle in the Washington territories. And whereas William Craven has dedicated his life to public service, and over his lifetime acted as the sexton for the Roslyn cemeteries, worked as the local school janitor, served on the Roslyn City Council, and has been a mentor, a coach, a friend to the youth of Kittitas County for decades, serving as an example for them to follow. And whereas on June 10th, 1975, the Roslyn City Council unanimously appointed William Craven to the vacant mayoral post. And whereas William Craven once said about the historic significance of his appointment, "Some people will like me, some people won't. I didn't run for this job as a black man, but as a man. I wanted an equal chance to try, and if I can't do it, the people will vote me out in September." And whereas on September 16th, 1975, the citizens of Roslyn voted to elect William Craven to serve a full term as mayor, making him the first black elected mayor in Washington State. Whereas in 1978, Mayor William Craven was instrumental in getting Roslyn's 26 ethnically distinct cemeteries on the National Register of Historic Places, helping to preserve the area's history. And whereas William Craven and his wife, Virginia Lee Smith Craven, provided a place to mourn the 4 firefighters who perished in the 30-mile fire, including their son, Tom Craven, at their son's gravesite in Roslyn, Washington, which is open to the public and includes a rock and charred trees from the spot where the firefighters died, as well as various statues, plaques, and pictures. And whereas William Craven was elected black mayor in Washington State, but since his election, there have been other black mayors in Washington State and across the nation. And his election serves as an example and inspiration for others that people of all backgrounds can pursue their own dreams. Now, therefore, Jay Ensley, Governor of the state of Washington, does hereby proclaim February 20th, 2021 as William Craven Day in Washington, and he encourages all people in Washington to celebrate his life and the impact of his election as our state's first black mayor.
Thank you, Representative Taylor, and thank you, Governor Ensley. Thank you, Governor Ensley, for that beautiful, beautiful proclamation. Governor Ensley, thank you for the beautiful proclamation. And again, thank you, sir. I have to tell you, I know I'm standing on some broad shoulders, and I just really appreciate it very much. Governor Ensley. I'd like to call Governor Ensley to the microphone. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon on this beautiful day. You know, by the time I'm done, I'm so excited, I may rename Roslyn Cravenville by the time I'm done. Mr. Mayor, it is an amazing thing to be loved by your town, as you are. But I think it is more amazing by the town you are loved by. Because Roslyn is a most Washingtonian town and city of all our great communities. Because there's no other community that represents so much the blending of ethnicity and nationalities as now represented in the cemeteries that you have cared for and that you put on the National Register. No other town represents the advances that Speaker talked about as Roslyn, that has moved from a company-owned store to a state with the best worker protections in the United States. No other town is in a place that represents such a center of a transition from an old source of fuel, which was very effective, coal, did great labor on, to a new future of clean energy that Kittitas County represents with solar energy and energy efficiency and electric cars. This is a most Washingtonian city that you are loved by. And that's why I'm so pleased to be here with you. Now, on a personal note, I want to just tell you, for me it is really exciting that finally I can honestly say that I know and have shaken hands with the first black president of America and the first black mayor of the state of Washington. I'm pretty excited about that as well. And Will, I honor your son Tom and his public service as well, and your whole family has been involved in public service. But as you know, your mayor has not hung his hat on this historical leadership as the first black mayor. The reason he is loved because he represents so much of doing everything you can imagine for his community, from sexton to the noble pursuit of being a janitor. And being a janitor in a school is a noble pursuit. That's who kids love the most, okay? We understand that. And we know they loved you for years and years. His work at the cemeteries, his work with the youth, and so much. And now this idea, by the way, I think you had the best job as a politician on the side as a gravedigger. I always thought it might kind of cool to be able to say you get to dig the graves of your political opponents. I always think that would be a particular privilege. But before I leave, I have a special honor to give to Will. And that is every day when I meet somebody in Washington that really inspires me, that's really, a cut above, I can name them Washingtonian of the day. That's somebody that really got to my heart, lifted me up. And today's Washingtonian of the day is Mayor Will Craven. He's going to get the mayor's apple pin here in 1 second. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Governor Ensley. I think we have to all know how busy our governor is with still dealing with the pandemic and all of the forest fires. For you to come out for a day like this, it means a lot. Please can we give Governor Ensley a big hand? And I have to say this before we unveil the plaque. I was able to pin a state trooper's pin on Will earlier. So I beat you on that one, Governor, for just once in my life. I couldn't beat you in basketball, but I got you on that one. So thank you for the alpha pin. And we're going to come forward and unveil the plaque. Please, come on. And when I say this is exciting, this is exciting.
Go ahead, Governor.
Go ahead, Governor. Will.
Okay, here we go. Good work, Peter.
Oh my goodness. And the proclamation is there. That's wonderful. Great, sir. Thank you. Kareem, come on up, please.
It's nice to look out here and see all the loving people. It's an old man like me. And then they talked about having. I said, do what makes you happy. And that's why we're here. People who put this together really love me. It started with my daughter. And she got behind. And I told her yesterday, I said, Mom's looking down and smiling like that. And she said, Donna, you did a good job. All of the people. It's a family. And that makes it nice. And nobody had to pay you to show up. Nope, that's it.
I would like to thank Jay Ensley on behalf of our family for acknowledging and recognizing our father. It's a great honor and a privilege for us as a family and for Black people and people of color in Washington State. So thank you so much. I would also like to thank, we've talked about the past, but I would like to spend just a minute or two speaking about the future. The past, the people grew up here, and Mr. Lubbock mentioned that he stands on the shoulders of those who came before him. Well, this town stands on the shoulders of those who came before them. This was a town where many people from many cultures came and worked side by side in the mines, relying on each other for their lives. And they built community, they built strength, and they realized that they had more in common than they had differences. And over time, they built deep, lasting friendships. And I can attest to that, because when we need anything, I know I can call my old family friends, my old high school friends, and they are the first to jump in. And that's a testament to this community of what a diverse cultures can do if they have open hearts and open minds. And I hope that people will remember that that people have more in common than they have different. And again, thank you, all the special guests who came today. I'd like to thank my family and all of the friends of our community. And I would like to also recognize those who are new to our community here in Roslyn. I hope that you will find this community as much with love and compassion and openness as it will show you. And I thank everybody again for coming.
Thank you very much, Corinne. And I have to tell you, I've been here for a couple of hours, and I find this community, Corinne, I want you to know I find this to be a warm, wonderful, and welcoming community. Thank you very, very much. Now we're going to invite Josephine again to entertain us with a beautiful song, I Hope You Dance.
Thank you, Mayor Craven, for giving us the window that we can see, that we can do greater and better if we put one foot in front of the other. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leaves you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small standing by the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. And promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance, yeah. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance, and never settle for the path of least resistance. Living life means taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth the making. Don't let some helping heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider and give the heavens above more than a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance, and never settle for the path of least resistance. Living life means taking chances, but they're worth taking. And loving might be a mistake, but it's worth the making. Don't let some helping heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider and give the heavens above more than a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
I hope you dance. And I want to close by wishing all of you, this has been a beautiful day. And I want to wish you peace, patience, and kindness. We need more kindness. This has been a kind day. Thank you very, very much, Sherry.
Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the Roslyn Downtown Association Board of Directors, there is a complimentary reception in the yard at Base Camp for some food and beverages. Please refresh yourself and enjoy. First Lady Trudy, would you please stand? Governor Ensley, will you please come up front? And Governor's Chief of Staff, Jamelia, and all the guest speakers, will you please stand in the tent? And what a day to celebrate our beloved Will Craven and family. No, Trudy and Jay, come up front. There you go. And Jamelia, as Chief of Staff for Governor Ensley. They all make this happen collective with the governor. And it's really an honor for our community to have all of the speakers here today, the tribute and the gifts from the Yakima Nation, and our First Lady, who, as you know, behind every great man is an extraordinary great woman. So we always need to remember that. And so the word so grateful is used every day. But I don't believe in the word so grateful. I believe in the word soul, S-O-U-L, grateful. Because when you truly embrace life and all that is good, and you seek for common ground and to leave your legacy in making a difference, it comes from within. So to pay it forward, I always say I am so grateful because it comes from my heart. And in this life journey, individuals like Will Craven and his children and many others autograph our hearts that lead us to be grateful beyond and break all barriers in politics and difference, but a respect of integrity and kindness in how we want to be treated and how we treat others. Will Craven, you led that example with truth, genuine goodness. We're honored to honor you today, and thank you to our community, our speakers, our presenters, the Yakima Nation, and others. Trudy, Jamelia, Governor Ensley, thank you for coming to Roslyn. Is Drew Shirk's mother in the house? Drew Shirk's mother? Would you come to the podium, please? Okay. The governor would like to see you afterwards. Thank you, everyone. Let's see you. It's like going to the principal's office, not. No, she's not in trouble. Enjoy the refreshments. The reception is right across the street at Base Camp Bites and Books. There's plenty of beverages and food. Enjoy. It's all complimentary.